Undying, we Occuria light the path for wayward sons of man. Oft did we pass judgment on them so that Ivalice might endure. Eternal, we are history's stewards, to set the course and keep it true. In one phrase, this defines the roles of the Occuria, otherwise known as the Undying and the Gods of Ivalice, the overlords of Ivalice, and are also seen as the most powerful beings in the world. But who are these mysterious figures, and why do they number so few? The Occuria's roles in Ivalice are not recognized at large by the population and can sometimes be clouded in mystery, as while they shape the timeline of Ivalice as they see fit, they do not contribute directly into the plot itself, apart from its war with the rogue Occuria Vena. In today's video, we will be looking into the Occuria, who they are, what their role is in the world of Ivalice and the events of Final Fantasy XII, and their plotline of an internal conflict amongst themselves. Welcome to F2 Worlds, the channel where we explore lore concepts primarily from Final Fantasy, and in today's episode we will be continuing our journey in Ivalice as we explore the mysterious beings known as the Occuria. While there is no description of what the Occuria were at one point, or even if they had always maintained their current form, or if they once had a different form at one point, we can observe that the Occuria are beings who are attuned with the power of mist, with their bodies being enveloped in mist and their ability to create phantom images to manipulate people in Ivalice. Their ability to control mist likely contributes to their spectre-like appearance and clad in armor-like material. We see this feature when Vayne becomes the Undying, taking the form of a mechanical dragon using the scraps of the Sky Fortress Bahamut at the end of the game, as well with Cid at the Battle of the Pharos Lighthouse. We do not see their faces apart from the yellow eyes that gaze upon their heads, and they speak in a voice similar to that of phantoms, like amplified or manipulated through the mist. The spokesperson and apparent leader of the Occuria is Garoon, the one speaking to Ash when the party reaches the realm of the gods in the Great Crystal. It is also likely that he is the one that has created the images of Rassler to fuel Ash's hatred of the Empire throughout the game and declare war against them as their dynasty king. It was said that the Occuria were once a race amongst those of the existing races in Ivalice, so it is likely that there were once many amongst their numbers, but at one point departed Ivalice into their own realm. They live in the skies above Ivalice far beyond the reach of any airship, and ironically, in order to reach their realm, they must explore the depths of the Great Crystal in Girovegan. While the reason is not stated for their departure, I have a few speculations. One reason for their departure is that the Occuria recognized their ability to control mist and its resulting abilities that they have found themselves to be superior to other races in the world and decided to inhabit a realm far beyond the reaches of Ivalice to display their superiority and power. Another reason may be that their power had caused fear amongst the other races, particularly the Humes, who may have launched attacks to the once many Occuria, reducing their numbers and causing them to flee Ivalice. At some point, the Occuria created the Espers to oversee events in Ivalice and helping to ensure that it was following their vision. However, the Espers, led by Ultima, sought to destroy the Occuria. Unfortunately, they were defeated and were punished by being bound in glyphs. The only Esper not to have been involved in this conflict was Zodiark. These are the same Espers that the party can find throughout the game and unlock using the license boards. There is one more feature the Occuria had used in conjunction with their ability to control mist, and that is to embed its power into stone, otherwise known as Nethicite. They used this stone to crown a new dynasty king whose role is to shape the world of Ivalice and how the Occuria saw fit. We saw one instance of this power with King Wraithwall using Nethicite's power to unite the armies of Ivalice under one banner under the Dalmascan king, which in turn gave the Occuria the power to shape the history of Ivalice based on their vision. This intervention by the Occuria is likely due to the ongoing wars in Ivalice and the scale of the war reaching a point which would become devastating and chaotic, something that was not favored by the Occuria as the outcome would have been out of their control. We see this also displayed in the current events of Final Fantasy XII, where the Occuria had sought to make Ash the dynasty king after the growing threat of Arcadia and the impending war between itself and the rival kingdom of Rosaria, going as far as using images of Lord Rassler to encourage the widowed princess to swear revenge on Arcadia, and using the stone's power to rival and destroy those who stood in her path, and by proxy, the Occurias. Despite the Occuria's desire to control the timeline of Ivalice, there were problems within the benevolent race. As stated in the game, the rogue Occuria Vena did not believe in the Occuria's philosophy and sought to change it. Vena did so by befriending a researcher named Dr. Cid. They returned together to Arcades and began to plan the idea of placing history back into the hands of man. Vena had told the Arcadian researcher how to create manufactured Nethicite and use its power to elect their own dynasty king, but one that would be outside of the control of the Occuria to unite under one banner, a tactic identical to the traditional Occurian philosophy. The similar means led to many of the fanbase debating whether or not Vena truly believed in this cause or if it just wanted history to be under its own control, likely due to past disagreements amongst the Occuria on how the world should be shaped, but this speculation can be expanded upon in a future video. The counter-argument to this is that the idea had been planted in a way that Dr. Sid and Vane would be led to believe that they are truly breaking the grasp of the Occuria with the help of their newfound ally, and are taking history into their own hands. Despite their efforts to do so, the Arcadians found themselves facing the party and the resistance in battle and ultimately lost. However, in an indirect manner, they had achieved their goal in breaking the control of the Occuria when Redist had destroyed the Suncrest. In doing so, the Occuria had lost the means to create Nethicite to grant to their Dynast King, thus losing their grip in the whole of Ivalice. After the destruction of the Suncrest, the Occuria no longer had the means to appoint their own Dynast King to ensure that the world of Ivalice was shaped to their liking. And thus ends the tale of the mysterious beings known as the Occuria. Confusing? Yeah, I found it initially confusing as well in my first glance of the story. They are a truly mysterious race that sought to control the timeline of Ivalice to their own liking, but without the population of the world itself knowing it was them who would be behind it all. In fact, this is almost similar to the role of Vane and his role in affecting the events of the plotline of Final Fantasy XII from behind the scenes. But in the case of the Occuria, it has been occurring for much longer as they have existed since the dawn of time. Let me know what you think of this mysterious race. There is many speculation about them as they are scarcely mentioned apart from meeting them in the game. As I did not delve into their viewpoints and analysis, I will cover this in another video as there are many details that can support and perhaps argue against the views of the Occuria and Vena. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you wish to see more Final Fantasy content. Other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and I will see you all soon.